Democratic Representative Leslie Herod had no luck persuading her colleagues in the Colorado legislature to ban police from using chokeholds after the death of a 23-year-old black man in suburban Aurora in 2019. She couldn't gather enough support even to introduce a police reform bill that included a ban. That changed when George Floyd died after being pinned under the knee of then Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Within a month of Floyd's death and the nationwide protests it engendered, Colorado lawmakers took the step they had avoided after the death of Elijah McClain and approved a ban on chokeholds as part of broader police reform legislation. The law overrode more limited chokehold restrictions put in place 4 years earlier. Making it clear that is completely banned in all circumstances has the potential to save lives, said Herod, who is black. Colorado is among several states to prohibit or severely limit the use of chokeholds and neck restraints by police in the year since Floyd's death. At least 17 states, including Minnesota, have enacted legislation to ban or restrict the practice, according to data provided to the Associated Press by the National Conference of State Legislatures. Before Floyd was killed, only 2 states, Tennessee and Illinois, had bans on hold techniques that restrict the airway or blood flow to the brain when pressure is applied to the neck. A majority of the bans enacted over the past year are in states controlled politically by Democrats, like Colorado. They include California, Illinois, Nevada, Oregon and Virginia. This past week, Washington Governor Jay Inslee signed a broad legislative package that will implement numerous police accountability and reform measures, including an outright ban on chokeholds and neck restraints. The efforts also have generated support among some Republicans. Bans or restrictions have been signed into law by GOP governors in Massachusetts and Vermont, which have Democratic legislatures, and have passed in fully Republican-controlled states such as Indiana, Iowa and Utah. Just a month after Floyd's death, Utah lawmakers voted to ban knee-to-neck chokeholds, though the legislation stopped short of a ban on all types of neck restraints. The bill was sponsored by Democratic Representative Sandra Hollins, the only black member of the Utah legislature. "Our community is feeling unsafe," Hollins said at the time. "That's why you're seeing the protests. They are in fear of their lives." This bill sends a very powerful message, from legislators saying, "We hear you, and we're going to do something about it." Many of the new laws include criminal penalties for officers if a chokehold or neck restraint leads to death or injury, unless they can show it was necessary to protect their life or someone else's. In Vermont, officers can face up to 20 years in prison and a fine of up to $50,000.